Today, the US soccer team are in Paris, one of the most charming and romantic cities in the world. But Jurgen Klinsmann and his American team have a task as tall as the Eiffel Tower against Laurent Blanc's powerful French team, featuring Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema. The US hoping to make it a close encounter of the French kind at the Stade de France.
Thank you for joining us as we celebrate and honor our veterans here in the United States. And for all those who served, welcome in as the U.S. prepare to take on France. With former U.S. international Alexi Lalas, former English international Steve McManaman, I'm Max Bredos. 3 months on the job for Jurgen Klinsmann. Alexi, 5 games. We're still waiting for that moment that this U.S. team starts to make some progress.
I mean, this is a huge game, and you said it. I want to see some progress from the U.S. team. This possession that Jurgen Klinsmann has talked about, I want to see that possession leading to creation of chances and then ultimately finishing those chances right here against a very good French team that is going to press from the opening whistle.
And a French team that's made some progress since that disaster in South Africa in 2010.
Yeah, it was not hard to make progress, wasn't it? The French were awful in the World Cup, but relatively inexperienced back four, as we're going to see. But anyone with Benzema, Ribéry in the team will score goals.
And they are headed to the European Championships this or next summer. Here's the starting 11 for Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, same starting 11 as the last game. The one change, Clarence Goodson comes in the back. No Landon Donovan. He's getting ready for MLS Cup. But Jurgen Klinsmann's finally solidifying this core of players that are going to take him forward.
Young, talented group for Laurent Blanc for the French, Steve.
Yes, it is, and as I said, very inexperienced back four for France, so it's a good opportunity for the USA side today. Of course, going forward, Menez, Benzema, Gamero and Ribéry will cause endless problems, certainly in Paris.
Going to be a good game at the Stade de France. There is a recently crowned U.S. Player of the Year, Clint Dempsey. He hopes to lead the U.S. charge with Tim Howard, who has started every game of the Jurgen Klinsmann era. Big challenge for the red, white, and blue. They will answer it when we return. Welcome back to our studios, preparing for the first half kickoff between the French and the United States there at the Stade de France. And Alexia, we look at this team, this game, this group. What are you looking for from them?
Well, I'm looking for how this team takes Jurgen Klinsmann's philosophy of possession and translates it into scoring goals and offensive opportunities. But it might even start from the back. When Tim Howard gets the ball, if the U.S. team is under a lot of pressure, is he just booting it out? Or does he say, you know what, we're going to play out of the back, and then when the ball gets outside, players have the opportunity and the confidence to play it up, and then it creates chances. And up top, Josie Altidore, again, we say it every game, has got to find a way to score.
All right, well, we're going to hear from Steve, but I believe we're ready to get back out there for all the action.
That's more important.
No, we'd love to hear you. We'll hear from halftime, and we'll catch you up with all the Euro 2012 playoff games. Some interesting news regarding those four, some surprises amongst them. A lot ahead on our day of soccer here. Enjoy the game.
And this is Ian Dark with John Harkes at the Stade de France, a chilly Stade de France, one of the citadels this of world football. It's where the 1998 World Cup was won by France against Brazil. But it's a big night here for the United States, and let's look at who's primed to perform, fueled by Gatorade, with John.
Yeah, it's actually Danny Williams, and I think this is a player who comes in under Jurgen Klinsmann, gets his first cap, and this is his third consecutive game starting for him. So in the midfield, no Landon Donovan tonight. You have to remember that. He has a real good opportunity here to put his stamp on the game and really to convince Jurgen Klinsmann that he belongs here.
That's interesting. You made the point about Landon Donovan. So far, Jurgen Klinsmann has not had Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey as two big attacking stars on the same pitch during his era, which I must say I had to look at that up twice. It's true.
Yeah, and, you know, as you go from one game to the next, you know, the opportunity for Jurgen Klinsmann to really put these players through dress rehearsals and, you know, different chemistry combinations of player personnel. He wants to see who's out there, and he needs to do it now. So changing the players right now and seeing what works best for him and his philosophy, style of play.
Scoring goals has been the big problem. Never was a problem for Klinsmann as a player. The officials tonight are from Greece. Michael Koukalakis is the referee.
You can talk to me, but that's all. Okay? It's a friendly match, but loss of the game are loss of the game.
No problem.
We don't need to create any problems. Blue, yellow, you decide.
Blue.
Yellow. You stay here. Kick off for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
Carlos Bocanegra, by the way, the only player in the team to have played in the stadium before, winning his 99th cap tonight. The 100th should be in Slovenia on Tuesday.
Tim Howard right there. We talk about players with experience, Ian, and the caps they have, and consistently Tim Howard and Bocanegra have been the only starters under Klinsmann from one game to the next. Great leadership from Tim Howard, does so well at Everton.
Well, it's the 11th day of the 11th month. It's Armistice Day in Europe and Veterans Day in the United States. There will be a minute's silence. All set to go here. The first time the USA have played France for 32 years. Back to 1979 when Jimmy Carter was president.
That's right, and they lost both times, 6-0 and 3-0. And you know, it's going to be challenged tonight for the U.S., even though the makeshift back line for the French team, a couple of injuries there, no Malouda in this lineup. But they will be tested, the U.S., for sure.
He is on the bench, by the way, Florent Malouda. There has been the guillotine's fallen, really, on a lot of the French players since their disgrace at the World Cup. I spoke to Laurent Blanc, the coach, last night. He said the scars still run very deep. Believe me, we're not over it yet. We have to keep on performing, keep getting results, and play with real pride. The USA have lost on their last 6 visits to Europe. The last time against Belgium, where they put in a good effort but really carried no attacking threat.
Well, the thing is, too, you want to be looking at the big picture again. You know, there's not many managers that come into a situation where the so-called grace period of just mixing up players whenever you want. And he has an opportunity to do that. But at some point, the pressure starts to come on the team itself from not scoring goals, and then that's how you relieve pressure in the back. They've got to do that.
Debuchy is getting only his second cap, the right back, having played against Albania recently, plays for Lille, who have been going well in France in recent times, winning the title along the way. Alou Diarra, play alongside Mvila in the centre of midfield. This is Menez, one of the new breed who's come through, a former Roma player who really does make some penetrating runs. That's not be allowed that from Altidore, really literally throwing his weight around.
It was a massive challenge. You see Diarra, as he just goes to cut in front of Josie Altidore. Completely takes him out. But you're looking at the U.S. team and seeing the understanding is there throughout this 90 minutes of where their spacing is, combining and helping out each other, defending and attacking.
Here is Benzema, the big danger man from Real Madrid, feeding it wide to the left-back Matia, who's making his debut. It is a novice-y looking defence in international terms. Also a debut for Arsenal's Laurent Koscielny, who's being watched a few rows in front of us by his club manager Arsene Wenger.
Yeah, we see Arsene Wenger down there. I'm sure he's going to want to keep an eye on him and see how he handles it at this level. His first cap. I'm sure he's a bit nervous.
There's Diarra, one of those who did play in the World Cup, though only once in the final game. And by then it was too late for France, who went home in disgrace, remember. Unlike the USA, who put in a pretty sterling effort. Bocanegra showing his experience. He scored in a French Cup final on this ground 2 years ago against Guingamp. But it's a new experience for the rest of them, and what a stadium this is, by the way. You can just feel the sense of history going back to 1998, for which the stadium was built, when Zinedine Zidane scored twice against Brazil in that famous final. Now then, here's Ribéry. He's in great form with Bayern Munich at the moment. Plays a 1-2 with Menez. But his dribbling and ability to open up defences is going to provide a big test. Breccia doing well against Debuchy there. I think the USA are going to be looking for things with quick, smart counters in the main, aren't they, here?
They are, and I think it's about absorbing that pressure and doing very well to counter and transition quickly as a group, and that's what Jurgen Klinsmann's hoping to really improve upon from one game to the next.
France did automatically qualify for next summer's European Championships, but only by the skin of their teeth in the last game. They left it very late, 12 minutes from time, to get an equaliser against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Sami Nasri, who scored that goal, is out injured and might be injured for a while, which is bad news for Manchester City. By the way, if you're wondering why there's no Gooch Onyewu in the side after his excellent performance against Ecuador, he's out with a groin strain at the moment. Doesn't look like he'll be fit for the Slovenia game either, but you never know. He was doing some light work last night.
He actually, in training, he went to the side and working with the staff, and he seemed to be moving pretty well, actually, Ian, so maybe he will be available for Slovenia.
Does that stay in play? Just about. Lloris, the goalkeeper, has taken over the captaincy, just kept it in. And Villa tried to make headway. Edu playing it forward. It's just completed 100 appearances for his club Rangers in Scotland, which is a fine achievement.
Well, it's a good steal from Maurice Edu, and he just looks to... He's trying to chip this one through. You'd rather see it played to feet. Breck making sure that he's available wide on one side.
Koscielny bringing it out of defence. Mathieu with the ball down the line towards Ribéry. Carefully watched by Goodson and Cherundolo.
Excellent defensive work by Steve Cherundolo. And doubling up really with the U.S. closing down Ribéry. They know how talented he is individually. Great on the ball.
And Villa's ball forward that looked like offside. The flag didn't go up. It didn't matter anyway in the end.
And one of the other things too, Ian, is that Jurgen Klinsmann was looking at that centre back position too. And with the Gucci Onyewu out, Clarence Goodson has an opportunity to play alongside Bocanegra.
Laurent Blanc, the coach of France, much admired as a player, and with the job of rebuilding everything after what in the end turned into a terrible finish for Raymond Domenech, who became a figure of fun and in the end some hatred around France. And Villa with a little flick on for the French. That's good defending. USA doing the job well as Menez tried to break through from the centre there, just turning up in an unexpected area, Menez.
He has that explosive pace too, Ian, to break through the midfield. Found a lot of space there. Good cover there from Clarence Goodson.
Menez again with a little flick. Benzema trying to find Gamero, who's waiting out wide, the diminutive little striker.
Well, again, that changing of pace very quick. You see Benzema. I thought he was going to actually get a strike on goal there, laid it out wide. Didn't work. U.S. in a good position, though, to defend.
Dempsey to Maurice Edu, who will renew acquaintance with Slovenia on Tuesday. I'm sure he should have had a goal that counted against them in the World Cup.
I went back and looked at that again, and I could not see. It was the mystery call of all mystery calls.
Well, I spoke to him the other day about it, and he said, I'm still trying to work it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter much now. Bocanegra looking it long to Breck, who's just been voted into the MLS Team of the Year. Congratulations to him and the rest. He's keeping good company, Landon Donovan and David Beckham, among others, in that team. And Villa knocking it forward. Ribéry's little touch. I think he wants to put on a performance here. Ribéry, that might be bad news for the United States. Too long for Gamero, the cross. Now, I saw a big interview, John, yesterday with Ribéry in L'Équipe, the famous French sports newspaper. He said, I've taken a lot of wrong paths in the last year. I'm doing it for Bayern Munich. I want to do it again for France now.
Yeah, he's saying that he's really in good frame of mind, Ian, as well as, you know, not just his ability every week to play, but he's hungry again. He wants to represent his country well. Wow, that's a heck of a challenge right there.
Koscielny with Breck Shea is still groggy after that, but the attack goes on without him. He's going to have a sore head. Danny Williams looking to make progress, one of those just recently brought into the side. Jurgen Klinsmann trawling around the Bundesliga for players. He's one of them. Fabian Johnson is on the bench, another waiting for his debut at last. France with all the possession so far.
They seem to be in good control of the game, just dictating the rhythm. You see the U.S., though, they're just basically waiting for them to turn the ball over. And then from there, you want to see what the U.S. put together in terms of strings of passes in the final third.
Remember, only 2 goals scored so far in the Jurgen Klinsmann area. That's 2 goals in 7.5 hours. There's a problem. Nothing too much wrong defensively. But this is a stiff test. You can't accuse Jurgen Klinsmann of taking easy options with these early fixtures.
No, I think it's a good challenge, and he wants to play the best teams. He already said that. He's got the support of the Federation in making it happen.
Debuchy down the line. Look at that little flick by Menez. He seems to have made that right-sided position his own for France, the Paris Saint-Germain player. I wonder whether they'll have David Beckham as a teammate soon.
Well, it is the fashion capital of the world here, as well as good quality club, Paris Saint-Germain. But you would like to think, anyway, fans back in the MLS would love to keep Beckham in the United States and the LA Galaxy.
Launched long towards Benzema, who was onside. Bocanegra watching him very, very closely. Knows a lot of these players from his time in the French league with Rennes and Saint-Etienne.
And it takes a big touch there. Benzema, Carlos Bocanegra recovering. Good defensive position. Thought he was offside, actually.
He looked
the
it,
ball initially was played.
Debuchy's header, no breakthrough yet for France. They've had a lot of the ball without creating, well, not anything really. Although the USA lost last time against Ecuador, it was a pretty good defensive performance. They really deserved a draw on that occasion, we felt, but it didn't happen. If they've got a draw out of this, they can do cartwheels.
You just got a sense in that last game for the U.S. against Ecuador, Oguchi Onyewu, the longer it went, Ian, the stronger he seemed to play. And getting his confidence back and playing week to week now on club level, it makes it very important.
Clarence Goodson's in there tonight, of course, wearing the number 4 alongside Bocanegra. Jurgen Klinsmann continuing the trend of making sure that everybody playing in the first 11 wears 1 to 11. There's no squad numbers, not for the friendlies anyway. France electing to do the opposite. Good crowd in here tonight. I wondered whether it might be a bit of a thin crowd, but the place looks nearly full.
It's absolutely packed, Ian, and the one thing about it is they were here so early, and you can just see the passion from these fans, the pride that they take, and they want to instill that pride into the players again after what happened in 2010. Great support.
Ball was well won back in midfield, and that's just too long for Altidore. It was pity because he'd pulled into a bit of space out there as well. Not found by Danny Williams on that occasion. And although the US are not creating anything much so far, they are getting a foothold in the game. I don't think Jurgen Klinsmann will be too displeased by what he's seen so far. Menez. Looking to find a little ball down the channel, but it's covered this time by Timmy Chandler, who looks like he might be the answer at left back. Did well, didn't he, against Antonio Valencia of Manchester United in that Ecuador game. That was a significant test, wasn't it?
That was a big test, Ian. Yeah, he's done well. Timothy Chandler coming in here as a left back. Pretty versatile as well.
Altidore. A good scoring form for his club. Jose Altidore, 8 goals so far this season in his club, a top in Holland. AZ Alkmaar. Next Sunday, live from the Home Depot Centre just outside LA, it's MLS Cup 2011, the big showpiece, LA Galaxy in their home stadium against Houston Dynamo, 9 Eastern, ESPN and ESPN3.com. News coming through too that Ireland have taken the lead against Estonia in the Euro playoff. Keith Andrews got the goal away from home. And here come the USA with Timmy Chandler. Good-looking ball into the right kind of area. That might have worked on another night.
Well, that's the danger, though, when you have maybe Jose Altidore as a lone striker at times. You want Clint Dempsey up there and pushing high. It's a good ball.
Well done there to Breck Shea, getting back to cut off the supply line to Gamero. That was important, John.
Well, you have to see, you know, Ian, we talked about how many times they're training and doing double sessions under Jurgen Klinsmann, getting fit and sharp, and they look pretty sharp in terms of that defensive recovery position. Everybody getting back and working for each other.
USA's only win so far under Klinsmann in 5 games is against Honduras. Carl Beckerman lost possession there. Ribéry and offside here, rather careless by the French that.
It was a very late ball. I thought Ribéry should have just laid it a bit earlier. You see Diarra, he was coming as an overlap, and he stole that ball from Carl Beckerman and bounced off his foot. Big touch there. Now to Diarra to come into it.
Chandler plays in the Bundesliga with Nuremberg. It's Clint Dempsey wearing the number 10 shirt, which some people see as an iconic number, more so in some countries than others, I think it's fair to say, particularly Brazil and Argentina.
I was just thinking of those two nations.
Yeah. Wearing the number 7 is Ribéry, and they know all about his threat. They've double bank marked him. Mathieu plays for Valencia in Spain, and here he is breaking from the left back position again. The covering was very good, and then it's well over the bar. No problems for Tim Howard as Benzema tried something different.
What a great little clever back heel from Benzema. There's a tackle coming across from Bocanegra, the captain.
How good was that back heel by Benzema?
You just love the creative ideas from players and playing free like that. Clint Dempsey does that quite often for the U.S. The more they give, you know, opportunities to Dempsey to get the ball to his feet, the better he's going to be.
Question of getting the ball a little bit at the moment, though. Here is Benzema again with the bright orange boots to Debussy. Menez on this side. As a roving commission, it seems. Sometimes wide, sometimes coming inside. There's a player down injured, and the player's going to be brought back. It's Dempsey, in fact, who's got the knock.
They went up for that challenge. You see that the elbow came across, looked like it caught Clint in the face from Diarra.
Not happy. If every picture tells a story, that one does. Other scores from the European Championship qualifiers. Remember, these are playoffs. Croatia leading by 3-0 against Turkey in Turkey, and Ireland 1-up against Estonia. Keith Andrews with that goal. Those are latest scores. Any others will keep you up to date. All playoffs today can be seen, by the way, on ESPN3. Rami, who played all but one of the European Championship qualifiers in the later stages, so he's made his place. They left him out of the World Cup squad. I think basically anyone who was left out of the World Cup squad, in the end, they were probably quite pleased about it, because none of the disgrace rubbed off. I think you have to be here and speak to people to realise just how much of a scandal it was seen as among French fans. I think even President Sarkozy got involved in the inquest that went on.
This is good pressure right here from the U.S. closing down the space, and Ribéry from Dempsey getting involved in the defensive challenges.
Dempsey, kind of charged with being the player who can make things happen for the United States. Crowd just getting a little restless with France. Altidore with a nice spin. Goes down in the box. Referee took a little look at that, not interested, and neither were any of the other American players. Here's Clarence Goodson. A bit lucky with the deflection there, which went straight to Kyle Beckerman of Real Salt Lake. Big run for them in the playoffs, coming to an end against Galaxy in a great game at the Home Depot Center last weekend.
A very good game, and you remember that strike that Beckerman had just before halftime off the post. There's that last turn again from Josie Altidore. That looks like a penalty to me.
Well, the more you see that, I'm surprised there weren't appeals from other players there. Wow, wearing the white of the United States. Benzema looking to work something here with Ribéry, who's kept it in play. The cross is a deep one towards Gamero, who is one of the smallest players, if not the smallest, on the field. Rami with the header down. Beckerman picks it up. Kind of being preferred to Michael Bradley, isn't he, Kyle Beckerman, at the moment, really? Chandler. Did find Shea, but Shea let it run past him.
I just needed Shea to hold that ball a little bit. It was good development there.
Benzema. Turning and twisting. Goodson played that very well. Stayed on his feet, didn't try to dive in, just took the player into an area that didn't matter too much.
Good defending by Clarence Goodson. 1v1. That last cross coming in. Actually, it's a good clearance by Carlos Bocanegra, and you heard Tim Howard yelling away, away. So being vocal as a leader is very important. Howard brings that presence in goal.
The USA have a little spell of possession in the middle third here. Just brought a little launch pad for something. China just letting that ball go a little too hastily.
Yeah, it just seems in the final third they are rushing a little bit in terms of getting that off. Here again, that turn from Josie Altidore.
And Koscielny does very well. Bring him down here. Look at this.
Well, Koscielny puts his hands up as if he's going past him. He knows he's a threat.
Mathieu's ball in.
Wow.
And Tim Howard grabs it. This is aimed towards Altidore. And Al-Rami is the player who stops him in his first cap last year, Rami. Bocanegra. Costa Goodson is pretty solid in there so far. Covering defence seems okay for Jurgen Klinsmann. Remember the serious business of the World Cup qualifiers starting next June for this team. That's what everything's aimed at. But every game's a big game for me, for the national team.
Well, it is, and it's huge. And even Jurgen Klinsmann said it this week, and he said there is no friendlies anymore. Everything is very focused, competitive. And Danny Williams getting injured there a little bit, picked up the foul. This is where the U.S. need to put more numbers forward on set pieces like this. Terrence Goodson usually goes forward. He's not on this occasion.
Ribéry with a little flick on towards Gamero, who can't really get in the game.
This team really disjointed the U.S. in terms of that final ball, but even that set piece.
There's a slip there by Goodson, which allowed Gamero in. And he's just played that in behind Ribéry, maybe vitally. Alou Diarra. Wide by Mvila to Debuchy. Shea again, having to do as much defending as attacking.
No, he is. He's getting back, and that's what I was talking about, the transition for the U.S.
And Debuchy goes down, and this time the free kick is given. And Chandler's not happy with that. He doesn't think there was any contact.
You see Debuchy as he takes his first touch right past Breck Shea. There's the second one. Does he make contact?
There's a little, I think.
Yeah, it looked like there was
a
enough.
little, I think, John. I think what he's saying is, I didn't mean that. He just ran into my leg. But you know the way things are. The players feel any contact, they're going down, like Altidore did. Once Koscielny made a bit of contact with him in that box, that could have been given, that penalty.
You've got to keep an eye on players here. Marking up 1v1 is very important.
Jeremy Mathieu, the debutant, at the age of 28, French debut, to take this. It's got a good curl on it, difficult to defend. But defend it they did. Menez. Debuchy loves to pull forward from that right back position. Menez picks it up again. They do have a few flair players who can open up any defence if in the mood. Debuchy towards the near post. Ribéry had come in there, was looking for something.
It's an excellent ball here. And he just whips it in half a yard. It gets beat. Great back heel from Ribéry.
The US national team returning to action on Tuesday, taking on Slovenia. That's a World Cup rematch from South Africa last year. That game is on ESPN2 and ESPN3 if it works better for you. Tuesday at noon Eastern for that next US game on this mini European tour, I guess you could describe it as. Players even went to the place where the Versailles Treaty was signed as part of this visit so far. No trips up the Eiffel Tower, though.
So it's an education on and off the field. Is that what you're saying?
It is. That's where they signed the big treaty at the end of the First World War. Beautiful area. French team as ever doing their training at Clairefontaine, where their famous academy is based. Nicely done. Shea is arriving in the middle here as Altidore looks to make progress on the right-hand side. Mathieu blocking him off.
It's a very good touch, though, from Clint Dempsey to lead Josie Altidore down the line.
Dempsey. Still no real chances created by the US. Cherundolo, can he get a cross away here? That's well cut off. They will get a corner here, the USA.
Did well there in the corner.
If the USA do score, it will be the first time they have ever done so against France, but there have only been 2 previous meetings in history. Here is that corner. Edu headed it down. Didn't get any power on it. Otherwise, that might have been a different story. Foul on Ribéry. Taken quickly. Menez getting in behind. Only Gamero to aim at, but Benzema's in space here. And it's blocked on the way through by Goodson.
It was a quick play by Ribéry to set free of Menez, but Menez's touch, he's very awkward with the outside of his right foot, and then the ball was cut back a little bit behind Benzema.
Well, Koscielny let that run. He did that very well in the end. It looked as if it could have been problems, but it wasn't. France are having big difficulties, though, breaking down the USA, who do look well organised and hard-working. If he can ever get Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey on the same pitch, it might help Jurgen Klinsmann. He was pretty candid, wasn't he, about Landon Donovan's absence. He said it's the same for any player. When you name him on the roster, you expect him to come. So draw your own conclusions. Donovan staying behind for MLS Cup. And Vila, long way off target. What's your take on all of that then, John?
Well, I actually thought, I was a bit surprised that he wanted to bring in players that were competing in the MLS Cup final. I think that, you know, Landon wants to stay, and he's been coming off of an injury. He's getting back to fitness there for his club, and there's a risk certainly playing for the national team. But Klinsmann had said, though, that they set it up after the France game. They were going to send players back, so they at least had a week to stay with their club and prepare.
I can see both points of view, that Jurgen Klinsmann wants the pride in the shirt. There's also an argument that maybe Landon Donovan, after everything he's done for the USA, deserves maybe a little special treatment and understanding with such a big game coming up.
It's a massive game. It's MLS Cup. It goes throughout the whole season, and you want to have your best players compete in that. And Landon Donovan has said that, you know, he wants to win a trophy for the Galaxy. He wants to lift that cup.
And you can understand that, can't you?
Absolutely.
I think the point is he will be there when the USA really need him, when those World Cup qualifiers come around. Koscielny, bit of a hurried, panicky clearance from him. He hasn't always won rave reviews at Arsenal. It's the first time really that France have used him. He's done well there though, won the ball back for the team. This is Kevin Gamero. And Menez just run into trouble in the end. The crowd just getting a little frustrated, and that works for the USA, I think.
No, I think Menez was getting frustrated there with that ball from Gamero. It was just way too hard. Played at him. He needed a soft, delicate touch. Keep possession there. They're running out of ideas, Ian, getting frustrated.
Dempsey. This is a better spell of possession for the USA. Have to make sure they look after the football, as coaches like to say. Chandler, no, that's too deep. Ribéry out wide. Benzema again. He's been in good goal-scoring form for Real Madrid, who are locked in a huge battle in Spain as ever with Barcelona. 6 goals in 9 appearances for Real Madrid so far for Benzema, who was left out of the World Cup squad after allegations about his private life and not deemed to be in the right mental frame of mind for it all. Mathieu has shown up quite well on debut. Tall, imposing figure. Give the ball to Ribéry. I think that's always the word with France. And Vila. Now Benzema. Now Debuchy. Little nudge on him by Chandler. I thought for a moment Debuchy was going to go down and look for a penalty. He thought about it, didn't he?
He certainly did. There was just enough of a touch right there from Chandler. But overlapping very well, Debuchy, as he comes forward. You see the French team having that patience, that one extra pass. That's when they're able to overlap the outside backs and get forward.
Good passing patterns here from the USA. It was particularly good hold-up play by Altidore in that move, I thought. Really showed his strength and growing maturity. And Jurgen Klinsmann, who did play a couple of times against Laurent Blanc in his time with Monaco and Inter. Played for Arsène Wenger, you know, at Monaco, Jurgen Klinsmann.
That's right.
Loved it too, apparently. Here's Altidore again, doing some good work. Tries to get the shot away. But I think he's having a good game up there.
Well, his quick skill, too, to just give him a little bit of a yard to face up. Here he just fakes the back heel, pulls it forward. Both players. Good deception there from Altidore. You can see the confidence, too, and the fitness from Josie. Altidore doing very well. Just didn't get that shot on the frame.
Already 12 goals for his country. Only Landon Donovan has scored so many goals so young for the USA. Josie was 22 last Sunday.
Well, he's got the same amount of goals then as Carlos Bocanegra.
Yeah.
12 goals. You think as a centre back, you wouldn't. Good set pieces, though, Carlos Bocanegra. Very good timing in the air.
Bocanegra scored the last time the USA won in Europe. That was against Poland, 2008. 3-0 win. Steve Cherundolo to take the free kick, just out of the Hanover side at the moment. I'm sure he'll be back in quite soon. I noticed he was only on the bench at the last game. Altidore again, giving a few problems with his muscularity.
Well, he does very well. You see that he's getting that space to come out on the wing. Kolshene in his first cap tonight, playing for Arsenal. Gets the defensive play on him, but still, Josie Altidore going from the center of the pitch, making those diagonal runs, he's always offering himself up for the ball.
Second corner for the USA from this right-hand side. That went out of play on its journey, I think. That is a goal kick. Curled out of play. Don't see that too often, do you? There's Koscielny again, who I noticed kept his place even though Vermaelen is fit again, the Belgian international for Arsenal. It was Per Mertesacker who got left out of the Arsenal starting lineup in the last round of Premier League fixtures. Rami, now Mvila, only 21, the tall midfield player, and that's given away by him. Williams dispossessed by Alou Diarra. Now Jeremy Menez. Look at the turn of pace he's got. This looks dangerous, doesn't it? Frank Ribéry loves to cut inside, then he goes the other way. Cut back. Menez over the bar. But that was the best yet from France.
And it's all about Menez. He explodes out, finds Ribéry on the wing. The deception and the cuts, and this one just back behind him. As he turns, he just lifts it over the bar, but Menez is really creating stuff from that central part. And he's drifting off players, Ian. He's not really playing as a wide right player. Seems to be given the freedom here the last 10 minutes.
Lloris there knows that was a pretty big opportunity, but all credit to the United States defence. They've kept the door pretty firmly shut. Diarra rather mistimed his attempted leap, but it looks like that will be France's ball. Diarra had that little spell with Liverpool, which didn't work out too well. Bring you an update of the latest European Championship playoff scores in a moment. Ireland is still 1 up, incidentally, in Estonia. Croatia 3 up on Turkey. That looks a bit decisive. And the Czech Republic have taken a lead over Montenegro. Portugal and Bosnia's 0-0. Tell you what, I wouldn't really want to be playing Edin Dzeko and Bosnia-Herzegovina. They could be very dangerous. It's not a formality for Portugal, that one. Those games going on about the same time as this, and available on ESPN3 online. Carl Beckerman up to Altidore. I think Klinsmann will be very, very happy with him so far. Adu is losing possession there rather carelessly in midfield. And here's Ribéry again. Cut out by Carlos Bocanegra. And Beckerman is dispossessed by the dangerous Menez. Benzema. Way was blocked. France get a free kick. What's this? 30 yards out. Central.
Ribéry loves these. And again, it's Menez. He's finding that space centrally again. He's drifting from outside right to the inside part of the field. Yeah, just pulling the jersey there from Kyle Beckerman. It's been solid tonight, Beckerman.
Tim Howard organising his defence. And it's important to get the geometry right here. About 4 of them want to take it.
Yeah, Mathieu, he certainly loves this number 3. Playing as a left back tonight. Loves to curl it. Benzema there.
It is Mathieu straight into the wall. Tim Howard, big shout to him. Leave that to me. Tim's Everton side just going through a bit of a slump at the moment. They've lost 6 of the last 7, conceding 13.
That's such a tough ball there from Timmy Chandler. They had good possession, distribution quickly from Tim Howard out. You just want to keep that ball. Don't send that running, chasing game for Clint Dempsey. Get it to his feet. That's where he wants the ball.
This is a good away performance against high-class opposition so far from the United States. Still no real goal threat about it, but in many other ways you'd say satisfactory work and progress. Ribéry, no, not that time. Chirundolo can cut it out. Very experienced figure in that back four, the regular right back, winning his, what is it, 77th cap today, Chirundolo.
Maurice Edu getting out of trouble, drawing the foul. Good calmness on the ball, though, between he and Beckerman to that central part of midfield.
Bocanegra looking for the angled ball towards Breckshay, who's not really got into it on this left-hand side so far. End of a long season, of course, of MLS play with Dallas. Benzema. There's Ribéry again. Mathieu. Hit it without really looking, didn't he, I think, then?
That's happened throughout the evening for both sides, I think, at times. Just that final connecting ball. Pick your head up. Try to find a player in a good position and stick it to him. It's just not happening here for France.
Diarra. Menez again, he's taken the eye so far.
Well, he's allowing Debuchy, the number 2, to just get forward out of the back. Here he comes again.
And Vila's gorgeous ball. Debuchy into the right area, but no blue shirt had caught up.
And that's what, you know, you look at the managers and they dictate a little bit of the play. They send Menez inside, Laurent Blanc, the coach. And he's looking to see if he can get that overlapping, stretch the game out wide for France there. Debuchy coming forward.
I think the USA team gaining respect.
I think gaining respect, Ian, but also making it difficult. You don't want to constantly defend and be bunkered in too much.
Benzema looking for a little 1-2. Ribéry, they were looking just to get him in behind. But again, the concentration and covering back there was of the highest order.
And it was very clean by Clarence Goodson. Very calm on the ball there. Did a good job keeping possession for Tim Howard and the US side.
The USA have to believe they can do more than just absorb pressure in the game at some point in it. I'm sure Jurgen Klinsmann will say that at halftime. Let's keep it tight. Chandler's injured.
Well, you just wonder when they get through the midfield, the US side, it seems like they're running, like Timmy Chandler just sprinted with that ball right into that challenge. It looked awkward, actually, and that's where you need him to just slow down a little bit and start connecting now. Keep the possession in the final third, if you can. It was a fair challenge. Debuchy went in hard, and Timmy Chandler just took a touch a little bit too big for him. He showed him the ball.
And he's had a lot of thinking to do, Laurent Blanc. It hasn't been easy being the French coach in the last couple of years. And I was about to make the point that Jurgen Klinsmann might say, apart from keeping it tight, well organised, I don't want to lose that. Believe in yourself so we can do maybe a little better than that even and snatch one.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's exactly the point I was saying, that you don't want to just sit back and defend and be organized. You want to be able to be a side that can compete and challenge yourself getting forward. You want to see that creative patterns and movement off the ball.
No goals here so far, and not too many chances either. Coming up at half-time. After the break, there'll be first half analysis. Strong comment, I'm sure, with Alexi Lalas and Steve McManaman, who are with Max Bretos. And we'll also have highlights from those European Championship playoff games. Dramatic developments in them. Mvila, who plays for Rennes. Oh, look at Benzema's got in behind here, found a little gap, couldn't really get his shot away, really dwelt on that, but for the first time the USA defence were caught asleep.
Well, the Real Madrid striker just gets in behind, and you see Timothy Chandler on the wrong side of the ball defending. Not good position to start with. Needs to be on the inside there of Benzema. You don't want to give a player like that space, a 23-year-old. Could have done better, but Carlos Bocanegra did enough just to come across and cover. The two center backs tonight in the first half for the U.S. have done well. Covering and balance has been good between Goodson and Bocanegra.
Ribéry. Well away. That's half-time. So far, so good for the United States. Very tight defensive performance. Some boos for the French team, who've created very little here. And they'll expect better, but for the United States, looking tough to beat. Can they be more than that in the second half? We'll be back soon.